And we are live. Good evening, crypto warriors. Welcome back to the Gym in the Crypto, episode 449. Today is Friday, August 9th. And of course, we're here to bridge the gap between community and crypto every day at 3-ish. It is that time. Today we have some a slow news day as usual. I guess, slow week. But we'll be talking about the 15 nations planning on monitoring a global crypto monitoring system. New Jersey signing a blockchain task force program into law. CFTC policymaker known for Bitcoin futures efforts is reportedly leaving. Billionaire Mark Cuban is now saying gold and Bitcoin as this are the same thing. And crypto entrepreneur Jeremy Gardner pitches a reality show to TV networks. So as I said, a whole lot of nothing. But first, check out some of these prices of the day. Bitcoin still hovering around that $11,000 to $12,000 mark, coming in today $11,906, 1.58% gain. Ethereum down 3.64% at $210. Litecoins down 5.88% at $84. XRP is down 3.3%, 29 cents. Wow. Haven't seen XRP at 29 cents in a while. Got to pay attention to that. Bitcoin Cash down 4.18% at $315. So again, everything's down except Bitcoin. This is how it traditionally has been, but of course 2017 showed us that that is not always the case. But definitely some coins to monitor. I mean, XRP we know is going through a fight. I know Brad Garlinghouse just released an article today talking about how that MoneyGram deal they inked back in June should actually be the talking news. I kind of agree with them too. To see, I would like to see what happens to XRP and the Ripple as MoneyGram begins to use them, and I guess grow upon their blockchain. So that would be interesting to see. But again, Fed now is here. Banks are trying to get their own settlement blockchain. So we will see what happens. All right, quick shout outs. What's going on, Milto, Crypto and Culture, Tommy Brown, Tessa Hall, Christopher Ladd. Christopher Ladd said BAT is at 20 cents. There we go. Another good buy signal. Yeah, I mean, these are some pretty, look, 20 cents for BAT, people. That's the Brave browser we've been talking about. I mean, that thing is still brand new. There's so many people who don't know about it. Again, this is a great time to really buy up a lot of these smaller projects. If you don't want to spend a lot of money or you don't have a lot of money to spend on going towards some of the higher ticket items, of course, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, now then, or even Bitcoin Cash for some of the people who like to trade it. I mean, now is the time to start looking at some of these coins that are literally a quarter or less, and just buy up a few shares here and there and sit on them, see what happens. The top story of the day: 15 nations plan global crypto monitoring system under the FATF is being reported. I'm sure we all saw this coming, but 15 nations are planning to set up a system to monitor cryptocurrency transactions alongside the Financial Action Task Force, a Friday report indicates. It's according to the Nikkei Asian Review. The aim is to stem the movement of funds for illicit purposes such as money laundering and funding of terrorism by collecting and sharing transaction data as well as the personal information of cryptocurrency users. So again, they are creating a task force in a monitoring system which will serve as a centralized honeypot to hackers, something we've been saying all week. They're creating a honeypot for hackers, and it's to stop money laundering and terrorism, the funding of terrorism, both of which don't exist or exist at a very minimal percentage in the crypto sector. I mean, again, MIT has done reports on it. I can't remember the other review, but one report said it was 1%. I think it was Coin something. Was it can't think of the name, but one report said less than 1% of all crypto is used for nefarious purposes or illicit and illegal acts. The other report said less than 2%. The market is extremely small. So you're talking about an already small market and 1% of that in regards to, or if you compare it to the banking system and how many people are actually using that to launder money and fund terrorism. So again, this is one of those non-starters. It's just another way for, I guess, all the governments around the world now to come together and to try their best to get a hold on Bitcoin and what's going on with it. But it looks like FATF, the International Money Laundering Watchdog, would manage the project. Of course, the United States is going to manage this project. Why wouldn't we? Which is slated to be finalized by next year and live within several years. the 15 nations, including the G7 members, Australia, and Singapore, would develop the system, says Nakai. So basically, everybody we're already friends with and spy on other countries with already will just cross over to this digital landscape and do the same thing. Again, this is one of those things where the government isn't stupid. I think they already know this, but it's a waste of taxpayer money because you can't monitor this. Like, every time you think you're going to monitor one, all someone has to do is go online for a good 20 to 30 minutes and create an entirely new coin and new blockchain. And then you're like, okay, well, how do we get this new one in our system? Or if someone doesn't want to create a whole new system, they could just use privacy coins, like cryptic coin where we give out here. You got Monero, you got Zcash. There's so many privacy coins that are popping up where you can't trace those. So I think this system is a waste of taxpayer money. But of course, if you're in the government, if you're a regulator, that's the name of the game, is to get us to pay for something to protect us. And right now, to protect us from money laundering and terrorism, we need to establish this new group, which I'm sure in the next budget hearing will ask for a few $1 billion to go their way as well. So that's the name of the game. But yeah, I guess start to be aware for all these exchanges you're using. This will become international data, which is going to be crazy. Sergeant Crypto, what's going on? They say Sergeant Crypto said they're using all these acronyms to scare the regulars out of crypto. Listen, there's no better time for some FUD than right now as the price sits at 11.9. All right, New Jersey's in the news. New Jersey has signed a blockchain task force program into law. It looks like Governor Phil Murphy signed Bill S2297, the Blockchain Initiative Task Force, into law Friday. Task force is commissioned with studying potential use cases for blockchain technology on the state and local level. The bill specifically points out medical records, land records, banking, and property auctions as potential applications. This first was drafted in March of 2018, passed the New Jersey Senate with one nay, and the Assembly unanimously. They gave that task force 180 days to study the governor's office and the state committee on science, tech, and innovation with 14 appointed members, and it looks like it is now on its way. So this is a good example to illustrate like how long these things take to actually go through Congress and get a vote. This was a state task force, a state program that was drafted for the first time back in March, right? So I mean, essentially, you're looking at like almost a year and a half it took for this thing to go through. So it's crazy, once again, when we see these Wednesday morning and these Friday, even though this is technically still a Friday morning one, but these laws that come into play Wednesday and Friday morning out the blue. I mean, this is one, again, it came up on a Friday morning because we keep telling you Wednesdays and Fridays to catch people off guard, but it took about a year and a half to get it. How often do we see this new regulation where, oh, you own this amount of Bitcoin and you're doing this. Well, now you need a money transmitter license. Oh, well, now you need a license for this. Oh, now you're not allowed to do this in New York State. And they're just coming up with these things out the blue. So to me, that kind of illustrates, I don't know if the process is broken on another end or what, but a year and a half is about right for something like this to get pushed through versus some of the laws that are definitely stifling competition and innovation that just get passed out the blue. So something to pay attention to, but this is going to be pretty cool to see in New Jersey. Hopefully more people in the blockchain sector can go to New Jersey and start working with this task force, because with the task force comes government funding. No matter what the price is, you now have a pot of money to pay you or pay some of the people you work with to actually get the information and an actionable plan done. So this is pretty cool to see in New Jersey. Hopefully we see it in some more states as well. Let's see. Cool Works, what's going on? Good evening from Atlanta. Down in Muhammad. Yes, smash that like and share button, people. Crypto and Culture said, boy, they quick with the task force to stop, but positive stuff takes forever. Exactly. That's my thing. It's crazy that, 1.5 years in crypto is like 15 years. Again, it looks to be like a pretty good task force. I mean, again, I'm kind of anti-government when it comes to crypto right now since it's so new. But if you're going to have one like this where they're actually trying to push things forward, definitely appreciative of that. But again, as we said, this took a year and a half. I mean, when Bitcoin hit an all-time high of $20,000 in December of 2017, I mean, this is December when government agencies around the world are on holiday. By the second, third week of January after Martin Luther King Day, they were literally just shooting out regulation. I'm like, oh, so everybody met over Christmas break and had these meetings and had votes and passed things out to community and had town hall meetings and got input? No, like they came back at the holiday break. It was like, all right, how can we get this money back into our pockets? And they just started going forward. So that was pretty crazy to see. Okay, CFTC policymaker known for Bitcoin futures efforts reportedly leaving. This story basically highlights my beef when I do talk about the government and cryptocurrency and blockchain innovation. This is the beef right here. A policymaker known for Bitcoin futures, who is shaping Bitcoin futures, ETFs. Can retail investors come in? Can only credit investors be allowed? Only institutions? What's the price point? The person who has input in all these conversations just decides to leave their job. I wonder where they're going to go work in the next 3 to 6 months. Private company, perhaps. Coinbase, Gemini, making $500,000 to $1 million a year to lobby basically to the same department he probably oversaw. I mean, this is kind of crazy to see, but Amir Zadi, the director, this is the director of the United States Commodity Futures and Trading Commission's Division of Market Oversight, is rumored to be leaving the CFTC within weeks. So I guess he hasn't left yet, but multiple anonymous sources aware of the situation have confirmed this claim, according to a report by Bloomberg Law. So they don't usually get things wrong, but we'll see. Zadi has been the director of the CFTC's DMO since January 2017. He is acknowledged as being responsible for creating Bitcoin futures trading policy, as well as rewriting market regulations for over-the-counter swaps. Both things no one ever voted on. This is just something that he himself had arbitrary control over to just rewrite and redo how it suited him in his role. One source added that the former DMO director, Vincent Magongos, is expected to reprise his role as an acting director. He's currently the deputy director of enforcement, as noted in the report. So again, they kind of go into more information about Zadi's history there. But the more important thing is there are rumors that he's leaving. And for his position, this is the height of the market for him, right? You're talking about an entire new asset class that is changing the planet. So if you were already a director at the CFTC, and let's say you have more grander plans in government, I want to be the director of whatever, the SEC or whatever. I don't know the CFTC's career ascension pipeline, right? But whatever you wanted to do next, if you could do your job for what you're doing right now when it comes to blockchain and Bitcoin, I mean, this is your home run grand slam. You didn't even have to create it. It came to you. You woke up one day and Bitcoin was here and this stuff was thrown in your desk to figure out. My point is, if he was planning on staying in government or staying in as a regulator, whatever it may be, he would stay in his position now. This is the home run to go into the next great thing. However, if you're also in one of these positions where you get to rewrite laws basically arbitrarily without any voting or input, then again, not to say this has happened to him, but I know if I was a business and it wasn't illegal for me just to say, hey, you do this in our favor, you can come work for us when you're done. You can make a couple million a year. What are you making right now? 115,000? Come on, man. Come this way. Like I said, I would love to see what happens to this guy next 3 to 6 months. If he's working at Coinbase or something, the fix is in. That's all I'm saying. That is real. Cool Work said, that's where they're going. Of course. I mean, come on. Sergeant Crypto said Coinbase, Gemini, blockchain are one of the many other crypto companies in New York City that stifle competition. I think, and we've already seen this before. The other guy who made the Bit license started his own consulting, or, that's right. He might not go work for anybody. He might just start his own business. The guy who created the New York Bit license started his own consulting firm around the same time, 2 years after he made it. And of course, took on all these companies. So if he starts his own firm or something like this, I think we need to actually put a law in place to where if you're a regulator working something like this, where it intertwines with the private sector, there's like a 2-year non-compete clause. Like, no, you don't. If you're going to quit us, you're not going to go work for anybody. Like, you're not going to one day make policy for Bitcoin futures and then a week or two later go work for a Bitcoin futures private company. Like, come on, that's ridiculous. All right. Speaking of ridiculous and flip-floppers, billionaire Mark Cuban is in the news saying, I see gold and Bitcoin as being the same thing. So whenever you get a billionaire to talk about Bitcoin, all ears are open, which is why you have to talk about Mark Cuban. However, he did have inflammatory remarks about Bitcoin in the past. In 2017, like most people, he finally started to soften up 2018, he softened up a bit more. And now he's even going as far to say that, he's comparing Bitcoin and gold and their finite supply. He's saying they're both collectibles. The value is based off of supply and demand. And the good news about Bitcoin is there's a finite supply that will ever be created. However, people have brought up some of the past things he said about gold, where he's right now saying Bitcoin and gold are being the same thing. But in the past, he's also said these feelings about gold, saying he hates it. Hate with extreme prejudice is not enough. Hate with double extreme prejudice with an ounce of hot sauce. So I'm just reading this from the article. Who knows what the context of what he said is. But again, the headline is actually good enough for this, a base hit as we call it. Mark Cuban is comparing Bitcoin and gold as the same thing. So maybe some of those people who only like gold, who only are interested in gold, but still follow Mark Cuban, will take a second look at Bitcoin. And again, people, this is one of those base hits. This is something just to get the masses' attention. And hopefully more people will start to use it. PFC Wells said the live chat is acting janky. Yes, actually, Alec gave me a new code to fix it, so I will work on that this weekend. Something's going on with it. What's going on, Richard Taween? Says cold down under, snowed in the Blue Mountains. There we go. Madam Crypto, hello. Valdez Granville, hey. Yes, PFC Wells was saying, have I seen on Twitter how Peter Schiff is going on and on Twitter against Bitcoin? I heard about it. I saw one article just pop up kind of talking about it. I don't want to mention them because we've already been talking about Peter Schiff so much. I mean, listen, at this point, he's into Bitcoin. If he's talking about it this much, we all know the truth. He's probably hoping it pumps as well next week. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, last but certainly not the least story. Crypto entrepreneur Jeremy Gardner is pitching a reality show to TV networks. Look at this guy right here, right in front of the crypto castles. Looks like serial entrepreneur Jeremy Gardner, the 27-year-old co-founder of Augur, the betting platform, of course, and the blockchain education network, is taking on Hollywood with a self-funded YouTube series called the Crypto Castle Chronicles. It's being produced by Adrian Bash, formerly of Vice and now contributing producer on the CNBC Africa Crypto Traders show. And Crypto Castle Chronicles is being shopped around the television networks right now, Gardner said. He says it's going to offer real insight into entrepreneurship, startups, and fundraising from a perspective that isn't like Shark Tank. They're speaking to executive producers at the time. So for those who don't know, he had his crypto castles in San Francisco and Miami, where he was basically Airbnb them out to other people in the crypto sphere, where they will have parties or meetups and all types of stuff that we love to do in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space. And now he wants a reality show to bring that even wider. So here's a short little clip of it, I guess.
Started the blockchain education network in college. Co-founder of Augur. Started the crypto cup. Yeah, tomorrow.
Of course, he has to have his yacht with the models. What's crypto without a yacht and some Lambos, I guess. Get some market cycle graphs in there. I think I just saw one. There we go.
Any death threats? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Ann Bellina in there. Ann Bellina's Anthony Pompolino. Oh, man, I'm taking this personal now. I need to contact this guy. Why aren't we in this show yet?
My favorite portfolio company. Tech is going to shape.
But yeah, so this would be Crypto Castle again coming out. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. After the video, leave your comments on your thoughts on a crypto reality show, especially one of this nature, I guess. This is kind of like the whole rappers in the background doing crypto songs and all that. I mean, of course, he has a real project with Augur, but the lifestyle part of it, it will definitely be something interesting to get people attracted to crypto. So we'll see what happens. Other than that, that is the show for the day. Thank you for watching. As always, make sure you smash that like and share button, people, and I will see you all next week. Cheers.